Hey friends, welcome back to She Talks Money, the podcast where we talk about building wealth, creating freedom, and making empowered financial moves without the fluff. I'm your host, Jennifer Butcher, mortgage advisor, money mentor, and a woman who's been in the trenches of finance for over 25 years. And today, we're doing something a little different. We're getting brutally honest because there are questions I hear all the time from clients, from friends, from DMs, and they're usually the ones people are a little afraid to ask out loud. They wonder if they're behind, if they've made a mistake that's too big to fix, or if it's just too late to start over. So today, I'm answering 5 of those questions, the real ones, the ones that keep people up at night, and I am not sugarcoating it. You're getting the unfiltered version of what I actually tell my clients, my team, and sometimes even myself. So let's dive in. Question number 1, how much should I have saved or invested by my age? This one comes up constantly. People whisper it like it's a confession. Jen, how much should I have by now? And here's the truth. There's no one size fits all answer. And the comparison game, that's just poison. When I was 30, I actually was fortunate and I felt ahead, but we had done something I didn't even realize at the time that is what set us up for success. We were making good money and living way below our means. We just stockpiled it, saved it, and kept hustling. And that early cushion before bigger expenses like kids came into play is what helped launch us to the next level and gave us the ability to invest in some bigger assets. But you still want a framework. So here's a quick guide that helps people get a little perspective. If you're in your 20s, focus on saving anything consistently. $50, $100, whatever you can, and automating it. By your 30s, aim for roughly 1 year's worth of your salary saved or invested. By 40s, somewhere around 2 to 3 times your salary. And by 50s, aim for 5 to 6 times. But, listen, those are only guideposts. They're not necessarily rules. So the real question isn't how much should I have? It's, am I doing something today to move forward? If you're investing automatically, increasing your contributions as your income rises, and avoiding lifestyle creep, you're doing better, honestly, than 90% of people. So stop comparing and just start compounding. Question number 2, what's the biggest money mistake you've made and how did you recover? Okay, this one stings a little, but I'm going to be honest here because we've all messed up with money. So for me, remember that money that we saved early on? Well, we invested it and that money grew, but then during the beginning of the Great Recession of late 2007, we pulled everything out and out of fear kept it in basically a savings account, earning pretty much nothing for more years than I care to admit. Life happened. We got busy. We made the common mistake of thinking we could time the market perfectly. And now we were fortunate to make some really great real estate investments that we may not have made had that money been tied up in the markets, but it is still a gut punch when I think of how much we missed out on earnings and interest on what we could have had, but coulda, woulda, shoulda. Since then, we've made sure we diversified and agreed to never let fear drive our decisions again. And it changed everything. So if you've made money mistakes, welcome to the club. The key isn't perfection, it's correction. You can't rewrite the past, but you can decide what story your next chapter tells. Question number 3, when is it okay to take a financial risk or bet on yourself? This is one of my favorite questions because it's one that separates people who stay stuck from people who create wealth. Here's the deal. Every meaningful leap, starting a business, investing in real estate, changing careers, involves risk. But it doesn't have to be reckless risk. It can be calculated risk. I have a rule. I don't take a risk that could destroy my foundation. That means my core living expenses, my family's roof, food, and basic security are protected before I gamble on growth. Once that's stable, then I move, and I move fast. So when I've made big investments, started new ventures, or partnered with others, I was terrified at times, but I reminded myself fear doesn't mean stop, it just means prepare and go. So if you're thinking of taking a leap, here's a good check-in list. Do you have an emergency fund, 3 to 6 months worth of your expenses? Have you researched or validated the opportunity? And are you willing to work through a little bit of discomfort and uncertainty? If those are yes, then that's your sign, because success doesn't come from playing it safe. It comes from betting on yourself with intention. Question number 4. How do I stop feeling guilty or ashamed about money decisions I've made? This one hits the heart because financial shame runs deep. Maybe you racked up debt. Maybe you ignored your finances for years. Maybe you made a decision out of fear instead of strategy. Hello, I did that. I get it. I've been there. But guilt doesn't build wealth. Grace does. So if you want to release that shame, start by reframing it. You didn't fail, you learned. You didn't waste time, you gathered data. And that data makes you wiser and more equipped now than you were before. And here's something I tell my clients and my friends. Write a forgiveness letter to yourself. Seriously, it sounds weird, but write it out. Acknowledge what happened, that what you learned and what you're choosing now, because here's the truth. Money guilt keeps you tied to the past. Money growth asks you to look toward the future. Question number 5. What would you do differently if you were starting over today? This is a favorite one because it forces reflection. If I could go back to the very beginning, here's what I'd tell my younger self. Start investing sooner, even if it's small. Don't wait to have a big lump sum. Time beats timing. And don't care what everyone else is doing. Most people's financial lives aren't what they look like online. Focus on building multiple streams of income early. One income stream is the most dangerous number in finance. So stay consistent even when no one is clapping. The compounding effect of small daily decisions is very real. And finally, be patient with your own timeline. Everyone wants overnight success, but wealth and wisdom grow over decades. So if I could tell my 25-year-old self one thing, it would be, you're not behind, you're just getting started. So those are the 5 big ones. 5 real questions, 5 honest answers. And if one of them hit you, take it as your sign to act. Pick one question and answer it for yourself this week. You can DM me your answer on Instagram. I love seeing what resonates most with you guys. And if you found this episode helpful, I'd love if you do me a favor and share it with a friend who needs a little financial truth mixed with encouragement today. And make sure you're following the show so you never miss an episode. Remember, building wealth isn't about doing everything perfectly. It's about showing up, learning, and doing the hard shit anyway. You've got this, and until next time, keep talking money, keep taking action, and keep betting on you.